Hello creative minds, welcome back to Style by Marvellgreg, where we share pattern drafting, sewing tutorial and everything fashion related that make fashion easy and fun. And on today's project I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful stylish backless asymmetric hemline top. So what I have in mind was this top on the left, and I wanted a scrunchy sleeve just like you're seeing on the right, and I'm going to be showing you how to come about it. So I'm also going to be showing you how to make the one on the left as well. And after doing that, this is what mine look like. If this looks like what you're interested in, then do well to stick with me to the end as I'll be showing you how to go about this. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so that whenever I post new tutorial you will be notified. Without further ado, let's get right into the drafting, the cutting and also the stitching of this beautiful top. And if you have any question, do well to leave it in the comment section. I'll be there to answer. Let's get right into it. So here I have my pattern paper folded in two, and I've highlighted all my lines. So firstly, I'm just going to go ahead and impute my shoulder line, which I have done. Then I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I came down by 8 inches for my chest line, and I highlighted it just like so. So this is more like our basic bodies measurements. So I've gone ahead to highlight all my lines just like I said earlier. So at my chest line, I'll mark my round bust measurement divided by 4. I'll divide what I have there by 2, and I'll come out by 0.5, and I'll curve it all the way to get the armhole curve for this top. So next I'll just go ahead and highlight my chest line, my bust points, my under bust, and that's my waistline. So this is an asymmetric top, and it's going to have a zipper, but my zipper is going to be at the side. So for my waistline, I'm going to come down by about 6 inches. I'm going to come back down by about 7 inches. So you can do more or you can do less, depends on you, but I wanted it to really come out very well, so I'm going to label that my top length. Remember that this pattern is on fold. You can go ahead and cut right on your fabric, but I'm using a white fabric for this, so I decided to cut on pattern first. So the next step now is to go ahead and impute my round bust measurement divided by 4 again at my bust point. I included my under bust measurement divided by 4, and I marked it there. At my waistline, I did the same thing, round waist divided by 4, and I marked it. So at my top length, I'm going to be using my round hip measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to be marking this as well. So I'll just go ahead and impute all this, and I'll go ahead and connect this all the way to my top length just like I've done here. So I'll just go ahead and also highlight it with my marker so it's visible enough for you to see and understand what we've done so far. So I'm going to be using a bust dart of 1.5 inches for this, which is optional. You can decide to do without it as well. Then at that point there, I'm going to go ahead and just get my nipple to nipple measurement, so I'll be able to connect my bust dart to meet that point, which I've done at my bust point. So that's basically it. So this part is going to be taken off. We're going to fold it in while making the dress. So for my chest line, I went up by 2 inches. You can do 1.5, depends on how exposed you want your bust area to be. So I went up by 2.5 inches, which is now going to be serving as where our top is going to begin with. So that's basically it. Yeah, so you can also decide to just go and use you can use your chest line for the beginning of your top. It totally depends on you. So now we are going to go ahead and connect our top, and the first step is to highlight everything we've done so far. I'll curve it just like so, and I'll go ahead and cut out. So remember, this is an asymmetric top, and you have to be extremely careful before cutting the front and the back so that you don't end up having one side slanted and one side not slanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the curve area. So what I'm going to do is at that point I'll mark about 0.5 inches, and I'll just curve it to like so, just like it should just be curved up I don't want it to be curved down just like it was. I wanted it up a bit, that way your armhole will not be too visible. That's the armpit area. So I'll just go ahead and cut streets first, then I'll open it, then we'll go ahead and impute our symmetric design. So after doing that, this is what we have. So the next part now is to go ahead and impute our asymmetric design. Just like I said earlier, we're going to be using this pattern to cut for both the front and the back. So at my waistline, I'm going to mark about 1 inches, so you can do half. So what I did here is about half inches, just like I've done. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it all the way to the hemline of the other side. So at the other side, I also went up by half inches, that's 0.5 inches, and I'm going to curve it all the way. So I'll just go ahead and highlight with my marker what I've done so you can see what I'm trying to explain. So voila, this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it just like so. So this is what it looks like. You can see our top is ready, so we're going to use this to cut our front piece first before cutting our back piece. So after cutting, you can see I included all my stitching allowance. At the downside, I added about 1 inches, at the side I added about 1 inches, and at the upper part I added about half inches to turn my interfacing. So like I said, this is going to have a side zip and not a back zip. So I'm just going to be cutting both the front and the back on fold. So just go ahead and notch where your dart is going to be so that you know where you're closing. So now we're going to go ahead and cut for the back. So for the back is going to be shorter than the front. So I'm just going to adjust my pattern, so my back will start exactly from my chest line. So I'll just cut out that part, and after doing this, I'll go ahead and place it on my back piece, and I'll go ahead and cut. So before I cut on my back piece, I will ensure that the shorter side is aligning with that of the front before cutting, and I'll go ahead and use my pencil to just highlight which one is my back and which one is my front. So if you're using a lining for this, go ahead and cut off your lining, but I'm going to be using an interfacing for this. So this is what I mean when I say place it together, to ensure that you are cutting the short side together and the longer side together. So after cutting, this is what I have now. I went ahead to cut out interfacing, which I said I would. I'll be using an interfacing to turn this over. You can go ahead and use a full lining if you want, but I have a limited fabric, so I'm going to be just using this interfacing. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this at the upper part only. I'll leave the side first because I'll be using that side to turn my zipper to give it a very neat outcome. So after doing this is what I have. I'll go ahead and give it a very good notch. I'll notch all the side. I'll do that for both the front piece and also the back piece as well. So after doing that, the next step is to go to my ironing table after giving it a good notch, and I'll go ahead and give it a very good press, and I'll come back to show you the next step to take. I'll also fold that in as well to give it a very neat look. You can go ahead and weave it if you have a whipping machine. I don't have a whipping machine right now, so I'll just go ahead and turn the rough edges. So the next step now is to go ahead and close my sides for this dress. So what I'm going to do is to ensure that it aligns properly and one side is no longer than the other. Then I'll go ahead and mark where I want my zipper to stop. So at that point, that is where I want my zipper to stop. So I'll close what I have left. Then I'll go ahead and insert my measurements that I'm working with all around, and also mark it with my pencil so that I know where to close up. So for the edge parts, that's for the hemline, you can decide to go ahead and fold it in, or you can decide to use a bias tape to close up the hemline. For me, I'm going to be using a bias tape to close up the hemline of my dress first before closing the sides. So I'll do that and come back to show you how it looks like. So this is what it's looking like. I've gone ahead to close the hemline with a bias tape. You can see how beautiful our top is looking. So the next step now is to fix our zipper. So before I fix my zipper, I'll go ahead and give it a very good press so as to have a very neat outcome by the time I'm done. So I'll give it a good press and I'll go ahead and fix my zipper at the other side. I'm using an invisible zip for this because I feel it's going to give it a more neater outcome. So this is what it looks like by the time I was done fixing my zipper. You can see how beautiful it's looking like. Yours should even look more beautiful than this. So go ahead and weave all your rough edges, and that's it for this tutorial. The next step is to go ahead and measure how you want your scrunchy sleeves to be. I already have a tutorial on this channel how to go about making the scrunchy sleeve. So if you're interested in making the scrunchy sleeve, you can go ahead and measure how you want your sleeve to be. If you want it armhole to armhole, or if you want it straight up. So if you want it straight, just go ahead and measure a straight cut just like this, give it a good press and fix it. I've done something similar like this on this tutorial with an Ankara fabric. I'll also include that on the comment section for you to go ahead and check it out. I hope you learned something, and I hope you'll be trying this out. So if you want it to be straight just like the white swan on the red pants in the beginning, that's how you should measure it. So but me, I wanted it a little bit different. I wanted to have a scrunchy sleeve, something out of the ordinary, so I went ahead to make mine a little bit different, and this is the outcome. This is what it looks like. Like I said, I'm going to include a link on the description so you can go ahead and check it out. I hope you learned something, and I hope you'll be trying it out. See you in my next tutorial video. Bye.